So you've been doing this for a long time. And I guess in your case, you've just been replacing pieces and not replacing, but just automating them. And so you can get more manual hands off and stuff like that. If somebody was starting from scratch, not that we want to create a whole bunch of competitors here. There's two sides of this question. One is, what's like the core value prop? Is it just that omnipresence and just as much of that as you can do is what the core value prop is? Or if you were
Yes.
starting, yeah, is that mainly it, just as much as you can?
Yeah. So for the most part, SEO, or at least how it traditionally used to be done back in years ago, before all the updates, before social media, all that sort of stuff. Because I've been messing with marketing in general since before Google officially went public. So it's been a while. And back then it was the same thing. Like, we didn't have search engines at that point. Like, you had Lycos, you had Dogpile, you had a bunch of old school things. But the main way you got traffic was going to other people's websites, interacting on those websites, and then leaving a link for somebody to follow what you do and come back to your site. And that's still pretty much how the internet works. Some people will go ahead and build their entire business on Facebook, and they do value posts and value ads and go live and have a group and all that sort of stuff. And that's one way to do it. But you're doing the same thing. Facebook has a ball of traffic, and you are chunking out your piece. And same thing that pretty much any book that you've ever read comes down to. A lot of the Seth Godin books, the Purple Cow, the Building Your Tribe, all of those sort of things. You're doing all of that on other platforms. And that's really what SEO was. So in effect, if you're just focusing on Facebook, you're still technically doing SEO. You're just doing it inside of Facebook search engine. You're not doing it inside of Google itself. But getting started with all of this, easiest thing, and more or less, is figure out where you want to spend your time, because there's a lot of stuff you can do in the market, right? You could go ahead and be just a link provider. You could be just a content team. You could be just somebody who specializes in social. Pick something that you like, learn that core product, process, whatever it is, master it inside and out. Then if a client asks you for something else, offer that to them as like a beta test, and then go that way. Let's say somebody's doing social and they want to start doing PPC. Figure out how to do PPC. I always refer people to Perry Marshall. He's a whiz when it comes to Google AdWords and that sort of stuff. Look at his trainings first, and then go ahead and start building out a platform for that and start getting results for your clients. And then now you have another value stack that you can add on to what you're doing. And that's what I've done over time. Like, for me, I started doing it through link building. I originally got started years and years ago in a couple different spaces, mainly the black hat ones. So Poker Stars was my first foray into doing SEO back in the day. And a lot of the online casino stuff was extremely competitive. So you had to learn how to scale, optimize, and basically automate everything. And this was like 2012, 2013 at the time when I was doing this. So there were a lot of tools that just didn't exist yet, especially not AI for a lot of that stuff. So you kind of had to learn and build your parachute while you were going. But pick one core competency within SEO or marketing or understanding the agency model. Understand how to do it manually, then go ahead and automate the process. And the reason that I tell people to do that first is because if for some reason, the same thing with the website and your email list, if that one product gets bought out and now the monthly subscription goes sky high for each client that you have on board, or something happens and they're no longer in business, you still know how to do that process manually. We only use the automation so that on our team, I can hand off the AI portion or the automated portion of that to somebody else to manage that machine. I don't want my team having to sit there and think about it and doing the grunt work, because one of my core values with the team that I work with is, if I'm not willing to sit there and do it myself for 8 hours a day, I'm not going to hand it off to somebody else to do for 8 hours a day. Because as somebody who's the owning and managing partner of the company, if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to hand it to somebody else to do it, because they're not going to want to do it either. So if you can figure out how to automate and scale those boring, monotonous, repetitive tasks and make it so that their workflow is much easier and it's more spot checking and just making sure it goes, then it's a lot easier. We're in an age now, especially with all of the digital automations, the AI tools, the content writing, all of it, where we are now able to essentially build a board assembly line, a production line of, this goes in, client payment comes in, they send us the information they need. And out the other side, there's a consistent quality product because we have all of those automation processes and steps in place. So you get consistent, repeatable results for your clients, whatever market you decide to go into.